Hello and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast, episode 503, as he looks to the other screen to make sure. My name's Adam Cook, I'm your host, and I am joined by Christopher Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hello, mate. You all right?
Yes, mate, I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for asking. Hello, how are you, Lyle Carr? Are you all right?
I'm good. I'm feeling ghoulishly good because it's Halloween, sort of.
Oh, isn't it?
Should we say something about Halloween? Spooky, yeah.
You can. No one's going to stop you.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like I've skipped Halloween a little bit here, doesn't it? But I mean,
I'm trying to spot the extra thing.
There is.
Is it at the top? Is it the wreath thing on the bongos?
It sure is.
This is crap for people that aren't watching the video, but this is why you should watch the video.
Because every episode you have a new thing to look for on my screen.
Yeah, I mean, really, when you think about it, other podcasts are just missing a trick, aren't they? How to keep people engaged. A new Christmas decoration every day in October.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect way to do it.
No one else is doing that.
I mean, you and I could do it. Would your family be fine with you sticking the decorations up now, Chris?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't.
Okay.
There's something I don't mind it. Like, I'm not one of these people that go,
No.
It must be on this day or anything like that. Like, we've put it up at the end of November before because we're busy in December. Like, it's not a thing like it has to be on a certain day. I think October might be stretching it, but I mean,
do you know what?
I won't care if it was in here.
No, we won't get into it in a deep way. But what I will say is, I spent years and years, like 2 decades, working in sort of public service, as it were. And I will say, you see it a lot. You see people putting up their decorations really early. And do you know what? One day I asked the chap. I just said, "I'm not being funny, mate. What's the score?" And he goes, "Do you know what? I find it quite hard throughout the year, and Christmas makes me smile and makes me feel really, really happy." And I was like, "You know what? Well, fucking good on you, mate. Good on you. If that makes you feel better, put them up in January."
This is it. Like
just don't take them down, I suppose.
Whenever I'm going into it, like when I have to decorate for Christmas, it just makes me feel happy. Yeah. Tinsel makes me happy. I can't explain it, and so yeah, I get it, and it makes me sad when I have to take them down. So
but that's just because it's a lot of work to take them down, isn't it?
And it's all over, and you're like, oh, whatever. But yeah, it's a faff. But no, I get that. I do get that.
Do you know what is also a faff?
No,
Sorry, Lyle. Oh, mate, no, you were going to say something. No, it was going to be masterful, but let's.
You better end this comment with the word faff.
Please end this. Whatever you're going to say, end it with faff. Even if it's I need to go to have a quick faff.
Okay, well, I'm not doing that. I don't want a faff. Do we call it that now?
A gentleman's faff.
A gentleman's faff.
What? Oh, I'm not going to ask that question.
No, please.
No. I was going to say something about Christmas. I don't know. But the fact I interrupted, that was a bit of a faff, wasn't it?
Oh! And do you know what else is a bit of a faff, Lyle? Is Bayonetta 3, if I'm honest with you. Right, that's not the way I wanted to start this discussion, but I just wanted to sort of get it out of the way a little bit early on, is that there's going to be something, as we talk, Bayonetta 3 is just out, today, it's out. And I'm really interested to see how sort of the hardcore fan reaction to it will be, because there's a few things they've changed. One major thing in terms of the combat that I wonder how people will take to. It was quite customizable with your. I don't know. Have either of you played Bayonettas 1 or 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I played quite a bit of 1. Yeah.
So you remember you could customize your hand and guns on your feet. So you could mix and match.
Yeah.
Well, they've sort of changed that now, so that you kind of just equip a loadout, which is. That's the set. You can't mix and match as much. Now, you can actually change between 2 really quickly, so there is that to mitigate any frustration. The big thing is, and I'm not going to get into too much story, actually, because it is just out. And I mean, whether people get fussed about Bayonetta and the story, I don't know. I think most people are playing it for the gameplay and other things. A couple of things. There's a couple of things that people like playing Bayonetta for. Moving on. And, yeah, so... I've said this in the review, and I'll say it again. It kind of gone multiversal, and I knew the second I wrote that. Well, that's what I mean. I knew the second I wrote that people would be going, "Oh God," and that's why I put "Don't groan yet" in the review, because the thing is the coolest thing about this is kind of enabled because of the multiversality. God Almighty, sounds like a Mortal Kombat finisher. So, Bayonetta, there's like an overarching enemy that is going from metaverse, universe, Bayonetta-verse, whatever you want to call them, to one to another, and killing. Are you right there, Chris? Because sorry, you just forgot you were on camera there for a minute and did a really strange face.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, but anyway, they're going multiverse to multiverse and wiping out Bayonetta's, if that makes sense. And she's turning up. She eventually turns up to just before they usually croak, and kind of inherits their. Now in Bayonetta, she's got Gamora, which is like a big. I mean, I don't know how you describe it. It's a demon, but it's like a demon, kind of Godzilla-y kind of thing, right? Is that fair? Yeah. And that's her. And she's also got the butterfly, Madama Butterfly, and that's her sort of demon spirits that she can summon and use. But other Bayonettas have other ones. Like there's one that's got the spider, which I think you fight in. I can't remember which Bayonetta it is, but you fight the big giant flame spider in one of the other games. And now it's, but in that Bayonetta's universe, that's her. You get the point. Mm-hmm. And so that's sort of the progression. But because they have made this game like multiversal, what it means is that you can summon any of these demons on like you can have 3 equipped at a time, and they're part of the combat. So when you hold down the button, you kind of just start dancing on the spot and control one of the whichever demon you've assigned at that point, and the demon fights for you instead. And that's exactly as incredibly batshit as it sounds. Like, and that's why when I say it's a bit of a faff, it makes sometimes it feel like it's quite messy. Like when you see what's going on screen, when you see it, and it's like sometimes in these sort of third-person hack and slashers like this, the combo-driven games, you watch them and you're like, I don't know how that person's doing that.
Yeah.
Like in this, sometimes initially you feel that way a little bit. Like I don't think of these games as button mashers, right? That I will be very clear on that. Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, I don't think of them as button mashers. I think you can get by button mashing, but I don't think of them as button mashers. They are combo-based action-adventure games. Sometimes in this you end up forgetting the combos and button mashing because so much, it's like sensory overload on the screen. And I found that what that actually meant is that in practice, I would be getting some bronze medals and silver medals, whereas in the past games, I'd be nailing sort of gold, platinums, and that sort of stuff, right? But that's not a bad thing because it means you kind of have to get better and come back and do them again and like score attack them a bit, and that's a good thing, right? I think.
I mean, you said it in your review. I think like. Kind of because it's a good thing if you want to go back and do it. If the game is designed in a way that makes you like up for it again, do you know what I mean? Which is what you said in your review. Then, in which case you're like, let's go again, kind of thing. Because I guess the only danger on some of it is if it feels like you're just having to slog through it. But it sounds like that's not what this.
It's not quite that.
Is.
It's not quite that. But there's no doubt about it that for me that there's some elements that could be tidied up, and it just feels a little bit messy. But ultimately, the combat is just still brilliant. It's different. It's different. Definitely different. Like I feel like they've even pulled the camera back a bit because they've had to allow for the fact that there's more on screen. But it's still absolutely like exquisite to play, and it moves at a good click, and it's a great game, and it's just an excellent time. But I do think the kind of overall messy nature is why like I gave it something like a 9 and not like a 10, if that makes sense. Like, that's why it doesn't it's why I'm not sitting here going, this game's a masterpiece, because it just feels, I can't come up with a better saying for it, but it feels a little bit messy. That's not to say bad in any way. Like I say, 9 out of 10, fantastic game, superb time, loved most of my time with it. Some bits of it, I'm like a bit, I'm not going to dodge it. I know people have been shitting on me in the comments and that. My kids, I mentioned about like
YouTube.
The thing is I perhaps assumed the people commenting would understand metaphor, and I don't mean I physically was sat there with my children going, "Oh, that's a pervert." My kids are 15 and 17. They're probably wanking as I spit. No, I mean they're not. And I know their mates. I know their mates are probably watching some of this, and I'll probably have to edit that out. But they're not. They're not kids. And I found it very interesting as well that nobody noticed the wife comment. The fact I said wife and kids. It's like it does make me feel a bit dirty when playing it, and I haven't had that since I was like sort of their age, my kids' age. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I mean, we've spoken about this like off camera anyway, and so you know my thoughts on it. I just think it's like it's not like you went to town on it, right? And there's no need to go to town on it. Like, it's Bayonetta, for crying out loud. But like, we've spoken about this with about all the games Lyle plays and reviews that are a bit lewd, shall we say? And some of it, does go over the line, right? There's either
I want more people to play this game.
Yeah.
I don't want. I'm not. Maybe it's a young person's thing, but when you're young and you're into the indie band or the indie whatever, and you're like, oh no, and they got big, everyone hated. I don't like him anymore. They're all big and famous. No, I want things I like to be popular because I want more of them, and I'm not saying it should be for everyone, because I've said in the past that sometimes things just aren't for everybody, and that's fine too. But bottom line is, I don't think it makes the game worse.
Yeah, like it sounded like for you that the issue wasn't that there is this character who is like sexy. No. It was that there is this character that you constantly have to watch the crotch of and zooms in.
It's not her outfits,
stupid things like that, and it's just...
it's not the outfits. It's not the fact her clothing is, her hair covers her up. It is specifically the direction and like of the. When you introduce someone by their crotch or their chest, that's what bothers me, because that is not empowerment. I'm sorry, it's not. That's a male director or producer. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Let's not talk about it anymore and give people any more reason to fucking hate me. I mean, it's just a video game, and I gave it 9 out of 10. But hey, let's shit on me for that.
No one hates it. I think people just like moaning, and
which I've just done. So
like. People like that kind of thing, and you don't dislike it. It's just like, say, I'm like, I'll
be very clear. I like tits and ass.
Yeah,
just to be absolutely clear.
Yeah, and hard agree. Well, bad choice of word, but you know what I mean.
Choice of words, hard agree.
Like,
you could have just agreed.
It's
but
just
now we know what's going on under the table.
Well, exactly. Yeah, 2 hands. I've lost my train of thought now, but yeah,
hand check.
Something about hard. Anyway, no, this is the thing. Like you didn't make a big deal out of it. I won't play this in front of my daughter, who is 5. Like, let's be really clear. Like,
no.
And it's just. It was, you made a very.
Would you play it in front of your wife?
Muted point, and like I say, it's like, it's a thing that's everyone's jumping on YouTube, and it's like. There is like another 1,200 words here that actually praise it to the hill. Do you know what I mean? Would
you play this in front of your wife? Because your wife does play games. Like, my wife doesn't really. Would you play this in front of your wife?
My wife would probably. She'd just look at it and go, oh, for goodness sake.
That's what my wife would do. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be like scared to show it. I probably would say, just so you know, frame of reference, this is coming up. But she'd probably take a look at it, for goodness sake, and just walk off probably. But she wouldn't be like, you can't play that or anything like that. It's just like, it just is what it is, But yeah.
Bayonetta 3, fantastic game. Fantastic
great game.
Yeah, great game. It's a great game, Ian. Chris, talk to me about The Devil in Me, which you previewed recently.
Yes. So I played the preview of the latest Dark Pictures Anthology game, The Devil in Me, which is out middle of November, I think, so a couple of weeks. And played a preview of about an hour or so of gameplay. So everything I'm about to say is in a preview sense before my boss tells me off, and it's all based on fairly close to the start of the game. So the setting for this one, this Dark Pictures game, is you control a group of 5. They're kind of documentary filmmakers, and they're doing a series, a documentary series about famous murders. And their Series 1 finale, which is quite ironic because this is the Dark Pictures Series 1 finale, is all about this particular murderer, this murderer in Chicago in the 1890s called H.H. Holmes. And basically, he kind of killed his victims in what was called this murder castle, right? So he set up this this house, and it had loads of traps and trapdoors and moving corridors and everything, and he kind of cajoled his victims to death in this murder castle, it was dubbed. And this documentary filmmaker crew, they're at a bit of a loss because that that murder castle's all been demolished now. Obviously, 1890s, no one's alive anymore to interview or anything like that. So they're like, what do we do? And then they get a call out of the blue from this guy who has conveniently inherited a replica hotel with similar rooms and everything else, and invites them over to come and use it as a set for their documentary. So they're like, great, we'll go over. What could possibly go wrong? And
was just about to
That's
say,
really nice of him.
I was going to say, sure, that will go really well for them.
Yeah, they're absolutely fine. They'll definitely all make it through till morning. And yeah, so as you could probably imagine, they start trying to scope the place out, look for kind of places where they can film and start doing that. And then things start to go south very quickly. Creepy things start happening. And as the game evolves, obviously, you get choices and everything else to try and avoid dying, as per all the other Dark Pictures games. So there's a lot of similarities. So I'll get the main similarities off the bat. It's a narrative-driven game. It's all about relationships between characters. You make the decisions, choose whether they can affect whether they live or die, survive the night. But there are quite a lot of changes and additions they've made to this one. One of the first ones is there's a lot more variation in the movement now. So before it was very much like old school Resident Evil, moving around corridors and stuff like that. Whereas now there's much more kind of dynamic movement, kind of crouching under things, vaulting over areas, pushing and pulling objects to kind of reveal hidden areas, or you have to push them and climb on top of things to get higher and things like that. Reminded me a bit of Plague Tale, actually, because I just played Plague Tale Requiem, and there's a lot of pushing and pulling in that as well. So that's interesting, because it means you're moving around the environments in a bit of a different way in certain parts of it, whereas often you're just kind of going through corridors and rooms. So like in the older games, whereas this one, you can explore certain larger areas in a different way, which was quite interesting and a little bit different. Made it feel a little bit different. The other thing that they've got is a kind of an inventory system for each character. It's quite basic. It's not like hardcore inventory management RPG or anything like that, but it's each character starts off with their own unique item, right? So the head of the documentary crew, for example, has a business card, and he can use that to kind of unlock certain locked doors and drawers and things to get to places other people can't. One of the people has like a camera who's filming, so he can like take pictures and stuff. Someone else has got like a mic, so they can like hear sounds and follow sounds that they hear in the creepy hotel. So yeah, it just adds an extra element, and they can find new items as they go. And if they have certain items on them at certain times and make certain decisions, and that can also affect who lives and who dies. So the items will play a key part. So if you miss an item, that could have an impact. I don't know a lot about that, but I did do an interview with the creative director, and he very much hinted that the items were playing into the narrative as well. So obviously experience more of that in the full game. But yeah, in terms of the preview, I said it I wrote an article for the site, and this game is creepy as hell, right? I've played an hour of it, and normally in like an hour slice of a Dark Pictures game, you experience a bit. There's a few kind of, jump scare moments, and, you're reading some documents and stuff, and that's sort of it. And you end on a bit of a crescendo. In the hour I played, there was quite a lot of game I was playing. Like there was lots of different things I got to kind of see and do. I was walking around like load of corridors that I turned back and it's a dead end. So they've moved behind me, playing and walking around in the dark, and it's really creepy, like Resident Evil style. Got creepy animatronic dummies, which are kind of a theme in the game, kind of creeping me out as well. And there's all the jump scares you'd expect. And then even some like key, I think, kind of death related decisions early on in the game as well. So there was quite a lot I was doing, and even some puzzle elements as well. There's like codes for doors I had to figure out and things like that. So there's like minor puzzle elements as well. So yeah, it really whetted my appetite. It's very much got, if you want a kind of inspiration. It's very much like a Saw film kind of inspiration, I'd say. Like, you get the feeling like that there's this person that is watching this crew and it's making them kind of do things they don't really want to do and make tough decisions and put them in dilemmas. And so that's really the vibe that you kind of get when you're playing it. And the hotel as well, it just kind of reminded me of like The Shining as well. And that would like there's like an animatronic barman as well. And I was just like, oh my God, this is a bit creepy. But yeah, really, really whetted my appetite. Be interesting to see how it all plays out. It's going to be a longer game.
Yeah.
It always, obviously, but it's a good 7 to 8 hours, this one, which is longer than the other one. So it'd be interesting to see if it maintains that pace throughout and if it's still impressing me at the end. But based on the hour preview, I'm all in on this. It looks brilliant.
In the chat, Kieran's asking, is there no famous face in this one? Because usually there's someone that people recognise.
So I can't remember the name of there's the poster girl who I think is the main, but Paul Kay is in it. You might even know who Paul Kay is, Adam.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, if you Google him, you'd recognise his face.
Kay.
He plays the director.
Oh wow, I can see it now. Yeah,
the documentary, like he's the leader. He's like the older character.
Why didn't you just say Dennis Pennis so I'd know you're talking about?
Yes, sorry, Dennis Pennis. I was trying to think of the roles he'd been in, but yeah, Dennis Pennis.
Lots.
Because I didn't realize it was him, and then I read it. I was like, "Course, it is definitely him. You can tell it's him." But he is, from what I've seen, that's very well voiced, and his character model is really good as well. So yeah, but that there is another the main girl. There's a woman that I can't remember her, but she's done some interviews, and I think there's normally one person that's like their face is on the box art. I can't quite remember what her name is, but
Sarah Michelle Gellar was one of them, wasn't she? Or back not in this game. I mean, back in
Until Dawn. Yeah. So yeah, sorry, I can't remember enough to.
Don't worry about it. There's plenty of time.
Yes, Game of Thrones. He was Thoros of Myr in Game of Thrones as well. Yes. So yeah, but no, very good.
Wasn't Sarah Michelle Gellar? It was Hayden.
Panettiere.
That's it. It was Thingamajig from
Heroes.
Cheerleader.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I'm confusing people who were voted for like hottest person in the world at some point during their career.
Years.
Just
so in our age,
just mixing the years up.
Yeah, but let's sort of stick with the horror theme then, because you've also been playing Resident Evil Village Winter's expansion. Well, we've kind of played a bit of it each. You've played the interesting stuff, and I've played the...
Yeah, so obviously the Resident Evil Village Winter's expansion, there's kind of 2 parts to it, isn't there? So there's basically the you can now play the whole of Resident Evil Village in third person over the shoulder, like Resident Evil 4 type way of playing. So that's part of the expansion. There's also a Mercenaries add-on, and there's also actual DLC called Shadow of Rose.
Yeah.
Where you play as the protagonist from Resident Evil Village's daughter, and playing it in the future because she won't go into too much spoilers, but she was a baby in the village, and now she's a teenage girl. I don't know, can't remember exactly how old.
16 or
16
15
to 18. Let's put it.
No,
that
it's definitely
age.
15 or 16, but I can't remember.
Okay, right, fine. Okay, so let's say 16 then.
I think it's 16.
So you're playing as Rose, and I don't even want to spoil the start of the story. So
the thing is, man, like we talked, I talked about it when I previewed it a month-ish ago. So I kind of thing I'm interested in mostly, is I played the section that's in Castle Dimitrescu.
Yeah,
about 40 minutes ish. Yeah, maybe not even. I understand it's about three-ish hours long.
Yeah.
Does it stick the landing? Does it? Because like what I played was like really exciting. Like, oh, this is classic Resi. And then then obviously I don't know what happens after. What I literally got to with you're fighting a certain type of enemy, which you can probably see in the footage what we're showing you. And I did encounter another enemy which looked like a bit. It seemed like it was almost going to be almost like a Resident Evil Nemesis style enemy that sort of chased you quite a bit, but I don't know because I didn't get any further and wasn't allowed to talk about that at the time.
Yeah,
due to embargoes.
So okay, so yeah, so I've said this is gonna be a really interesting one to talk about. Like, I'd be really interested to hear Chris White's perspective on it, who reviewed it. This DLC is very much for me like it's Resident Evil Village again, in the sense
that's what I've heard.
But I like I liked Resident Evil Village. So
but you've also played Resident Evil Village.
What's that?
You've also played Resident Evil Village.
Yes, yeah. And so, you know, there's more to it than just what you've played. But people that have played Village will find some of it very familiar in terms of the locations and things. There is obviously the new ideas in it, which you touched on in your preview, which was with Rose and her powers and abilities. Which
well that's what I want to ask. I want to know, because I got vibes of like Metroidvania. Does it carry on in that route, or did I see? So I'm guessing not, because I feel like you'd be a little bit more waxing lyrical about it if it progressed that idea more.
I think the problem with it is it's 2 to 3 hours long, right? Yeah, my playthrough was 3 hours long, and I play things in a certain way, as you know.
So it's not 3 hours long, is what you're saying, really?
I'd probably say someone else playing it normally will finish it in 2.5.
Well, Chris said it took him 3 hours as well, so
yeah, maybe then maybe it is 3. But I guess
sounds like what you're saying is it's no more than 3 hours, really.
Yes, I would say that, and what I would say is, therefore, I guess expecting it to have lots and lots of different Metroidvania.
Yeah, but does it do anything other than what I've? So the 2 powers I played with when I previewed it was one. Yeah. You can sort of undo the, I don't know what you would call that stuff, the mess that takes over the castle, and the second one I got just near the end of the preview is that you can slow enemies down. Without spoiling, do you get anything else? Is that it?
That's pretty much it.
Oh. Okay. Well, I mean, you're not. I'll be honest.
And I don't want to spoil why, because there's a really real reason why you don't get anything else.
Well, yeah, it's 3 hours.
Well, yes, but there's also real key story reason as to why you don't. But
okay.
I mean,
no, I know. No, you can't spoil it. It's out. I can't literally spoil today. What
I will say. So, my view of it is, I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I think people going back to familiar areas will enjoy going back to familiar areas and knowing what happened in the original Village in those places. And I think whilst it doesn't have like completely new ideas in those areas, it has enough to make you feel like it's not playing the same thing again, even though it's in the same setting. So I really enjoyed it, but I could see some people just going, this is just Village again. And I think that's a shame, because I think people would be missing it, because for me, there's enough different in there. I wished it would be longer, because I was having a good time with it. Without spoiling it, there's basically 2.5 areas that it basically copies from Village, and there are 5 areas in the whole of Village. I was wanting it to go to every area and redo it, because I thought that it'd be cool, right? So, but obviously, you know, that would take more than 3 hours. But that would be, for me, I'd be like, yeah, this is cool. So I really liked it. But I agree with Chris when he said he wished it lasted longer. But for me, that shows I was having a really good time with what I was playing, and I think that would have then allowed it to do the things that you're probably looking for, which is maybe an extra thing you unlock later to do something a little bit different, which doesn't really happen. Not really.
Well, should we?
It's really hard because I don't want to spoil the story.
I was going to say, should I just briefly touch upon the main game, because I played some of it in third person, and I'll be honest with you, it felt a bit cumbersome. It didn't feel quite as responsive as I'd like. Now I could have probably played with the settings a little bit. It's still Village. The one thing I suppose we can mention is the thing we speculated upon, which is how would they handle the cutscenes, and they do go into first person for those cutscenes. It's weird because you still can't.
Can I ask if you can see his face?
No, you kind of still can't. Like, you sort of you turn. You know, you try and turn the camera onto him, and it kind of he turns. He sort of tries to avoid letting you. Like, it's difficult because obviously we are actually talking live, but I'm rewinding the footage that I captured for the pod, and you can actually see I tried to do exactly that. But right now, as I'm speaking, you can see I'm sort of trying to see his face, and then I give up because the camera just keeps turning away from him. Like, he just sort of, you get a side profile, and then he just doesn't. It's
and
like,
I can't talk about why I've asked that question, but like I know we did a spoiler cast for Resident Evil Village. We won't ever do a spoiler cast for DLC, but I'll ask you afterwards. But it's ridiculous. But there's a reason in the DLC why I asked you that.
Okay. It's fine. Like it's Resident Evil Village still. I think you can. I don't know. I feel like it looks great, but I do feel like you can kind of tell it was designed. You know, again, I don't normally do this, but I'm just sort of spinning on to when you can see it. Literally, the transition from third to first is pretty smooth. You still have control when you're in first person of the camera, but like other than that, Mercenaries is there, and like they've added stuff. But I didn't get to play that because you have to unlock it, and I didn't really feel Mercenaries in first person. Village Gold is a great package, I would say, if you're into that sort of thing. But before we get into listener correspondence, I suppose we should. As a game, I want Lyle to give us the kind of a brief rundown, I guess, on Ghostbusters, the video game, because I still haven't played it and I still want to play it. Am I right to want to play it, Lyle?
Kind of are, yeah. So yeah, Ghostbusters.
Very convincing.
It's a tough one, to be honest. It's a very interesting game, but it plays unlike any sort of multiplayer game I've ever played, but I don't necessarily know if it's good and interesting or just sort of weird. But yeah, right. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, Spirits Within, something like that. The new multiplayer Ghostbusters game. It's asymmetric 4 versus 1, and basically you either play as one of 4 Ghostbusters or one ghost.
Can you play a Slimer? Can you play a Slimer? That's all that matters.
That surely you play as Slimer.
You can play as Slimer. If you pre-ordered the game, he's unlocked from the start. If not, you have to get to a really high level to play as Slimer.
That's a dick move.
Fucking dirty. That is dirty.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, definitely. So yeah, you can play as Slimer. Slimer it's like a unlockable costume essentially for like the.
I don't care if he's shit or good, but I want to be able to play as him.
No,
that's
100%.
I don't even really like these asymmetric type games, but
I do,
Slimer, I'm all over
but
that.
Slimer, yeah.
What about Marshmallow Man?
Yeah, essentially.
Oh, Mr. Staple.
I don't think that's possible because you're in quite small areas. You'd have to be a very small Stay Puft. But there are nice nods to the series. There are, they've got returning voice acts. I think they've got Winston and Ray.
Well, I was going to ask which Ghostbusters it is.
Yeah, it's those two. They're the two who are in it.
No, but the other. So of the 4 Ghostbusters, are we talking like the OG 4 Ghostbusters in terms of?
No.
Okay.
You play as when you start the game, you make a custom Ghostbuster, and you are one of the sort of new lackeys of the Ghostbusters. Like
that's what everybody wants, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So you make yourself. You give yourself a nice
Ghostbuster.
Yeah. So I got to make myself as a Ghostbuster. So just sort of like a fun, fat, beardy Ghostbuster in as bright and colourful an outfit as possible.
I was going to say rainbow-coloured.
Rainbow Ghostbusters, yeah. I had like neon blue gloves, I think I unlocked quite quickly and was like, oh, that's garish and doesn't fit. Perfect. And then, yeah, essentially you go out into a game, you search for a game. Seems to be quite a lot of people playing it still now, so, good sign. It's not difficult to find matches or anything.
Presumably.
Yeah, all desperate to unlock Slimer. And yeah, the gameplay is, if you're one of the Ghostbusters, you've got like your ghost meter thing that you point around to try and find a ghost, or rifts. And in each match, the ghost has 3 rifts. And basically, if you take out the rifts, they're kind of like the ghost's extra lives. So you can either try and catch the ghost like 4 times, or get rid of the rifts and catch it once. And to catch ghosts, you sort of like have to find where they are. They lose their powers if they like do too much stuff out in the world, so they have to like go into the objects, and then it kind of becomes a bit prop hunty in the way of. I mean, it's very similar to Midnight Ghost Hunt, but it's kind of like a little less actiony, I guess. There's a little bit less to the gameplay. It's almost more about trying to use the systems as well you can, because if you're one of the ghosts, the aim is to haunt the place as much as possible. So you don't have to attack the Ghostbusters at all. You have to like make the building 100% haunted, and then they have to leave because it's too haunted to be in.
Which is
so
what happens in the films, right? The building
becomes
too
so
haunted.
It makes sense. Just too haunted. They're like, oh no, gotta go. This is a bit much for me. I guess your baby Ghostbusters, you're not really prepared for this sort of stuff. So yeah, as the ghost, you go around and you can scare civilians. So like it's not just the Ghostbusters in the building. There's just random people walking around who'll just get more and more freaked out as they see things floating. It takes a lot to scare them though. Like you have to go up to them and like sort of like scream in the face and have things floating around, and then eventually they'll be like, well, I should probably go, I guess. But if you're one of the Ghostbusters to kind of like keep the haunt meter down, you can go up to the uneasy civilians and calm them down, be like, oh, this isn't that bad, chill out. Like, this is only a class 3 ghost situation. I barely get out of bed for this, and then they'll calm down. But there's a lot to it, and it's interesting, but I don't know if it's like definitely fun. And I keep playing it, and I'm still not sure. It could go either way. I enjoy playing it. I don't dislike playing it, but I never really know that I'm definitely doing the most effective thing to win on either side. It's difficult, and no matter what I unlock, I'm like, oh, I've got a new gadget that'll slow the ghost as it's trying to get away, and you sort of like Luigi's Mansion the ghosts, and you have to put a trap down, and it's a bit finicky, but I guess it kind of has to be, because otherwise you'd just catch the ghost immediately and win. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's one where I really can't decide how the balance is and how the gameplay is, and if it really clicks. But I've played a lot of it and I've still not really come to a conclusion.
I feel like you probably have, given that you played that much and you still can't definitively say it's fun.
Yeah, it's probably not the best.
I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's kind of what you're saying.
It is kind of what I'm saying, but it's difficult as well, because I never know, because each side is a varying level of fun too. Like, I understand at least what I'm doing as a Ghostbuster more and what's more important. But it's cool how Ghostbusters it is, like how like you walk around like the firehouse in between missions, and there's like loads of different side quests to do. You get the story as you play, so there's like a big intro cutscene, and Ghostbusters theme playing, and all the fun Ghostbusters bits you would like. And then as you level up your like character level by doing well in multiplayer, like it's like pretty much every 5 levels you'll unlock essentially a new cutscene. So you'll go and meet with some of the characters, and they'll be like, oh no, there's this big evil ghost and he's possessing this person, and we'll have a big cutscene about it. And then eventually they'll just sort of go, okay, well, we'll try and deal with this. You just go out and bust some ghosts for a while and then check back in later. So sort of every so often you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll go watch a new cutscene now.
Well, busting makes me feel good, right? Right, Bayonetta fans? Busting makes me feel good.
Yeah. Did you have to Google that?
What?
That.
What? Busting makes me feel good?
Yeah.
No, I'm not senile.
I'm just checking.
That'd be weird.
King hell. No, I've been waiting for that joke since the start of the podcast. Busting makes me feel good, don't you think, Bayonetta? Fucking hell, I'm underappreciated in my time. I'm sorry, he's upset me, Lyle. It's time. Do you know what it's time for?
The highlight of the pod.
It's time.
Chris Hyde. Listen to Correspondence. It's time. It's time. Chris Hyde. My phone is so far behind. Sorry. It hasn't even started on mine. I've got no monkeys or sheep. Wow. Right. Okay, so the first set of questions comes from Mick, and I'm going to try and not butcher the language here, but apparently this week he's referring to himself as Kirisu.
I'm going to have to stop you there, Chris. Sorry.
What's that?
I'm going to have to stop you there.
Okay. Have I just sworn in a foreign language?
No, you just... Lyle, have you looked it up? Right? Have you looked it up?
No, it says,
in
fairness.
Oh, does it say something about interrupt?
It does,
it's
yeah.
So, true to form, I haven't looked it up for the lols and bants live on air. So what does it mean?
So let's do it now live. I've already done this, but Japanese to English means Chris interrupted.
That is good, though.
That's pretty damn
that
fine.
Is pretty good.
Yes. Anyway, what are his questions?
Okay, so Adam, I'll do your questions first.
Okay,
mate.
okay.
If you could fix your top 3 games of all time with one change, what would you do for each of them? This is a great question.
It's a trick question because
It
my
kind of
favourite
is,
games
because
of all
you'd
time
imply
don't
that your top 3 games of all time don't have that many problems.
It's well known that like Super Mario World is one of my favourite games of all time. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I can't answer this. I literally can't answer this. If anyone else wants to take it, by all means, but I can't answer this because my favourite 3 games of all time, I have nothing. Well, you wouldn't. Or make it longer. Well, it doesn't need
Longer.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can really think that you could do to a game. And yeah, it's
make a little shortcut when you're
question.
there from Choco Mountain to Yoshi's Island and make it a lovely little circuit.
Suppose,
Yeah,
but
that's
I mean,
nice.
no,
Rather than having to go through the stars or spoiler, or you know,
wow. No, I don't like not being able to answer a question, but I don't have one. I don't have an answer to this question. I don't. Because
What's your other top 3 games?
I'm not telling anybody
2?
that. That's for me and me. I can tell you 2 of them, but I'm not telling you the third one because the third one's on a permanent rotation. I don't care. It's on a permanent rotation.
Okay, well, next week someone needs to ask Adam, what are your top 3 games of all time?
I'm not going to answer it though. I'll be very clear about it. I will not answer that question.
Why?
Because it's for me. It's me alone to know.
Is it basically because you haven't decided what your third game of all time is?
Because my third game is probably on a rotation. I never think of it as a top 3. So.
Yeah. I can't even think of one. Like, I just change it all the time. Like, I don't
Mario
know.
World,
there's loads of great games.
Mario World and Final Fantasy 7 are always in my top 2. You know, they're my top 2 probably just because of the timing, I guess. But I don't have a third to sort of. I just don't. I'm afraid.
Okey-doke. What do you think of Sony's pricing with PC ports so far?
Is this because they're sort of full priced? Presumably.
I presume so.
Because, like, the thing is I think it's easy for someone to think about this from almost a skewed perspective because, like, Sackboy's just come out, hey, but that game's already out on PS5. Yeah, but it's not been out on PC, so they're not going to charge a discount on what is to them a brand new game in a brand new market. So I don't have much of a problem with it, to be completely honest with you, because it's the consumer choice is always there. If you're rebuy, they're not going to go, hey, look, we know we've sold however million PS4s and PS5s, so we want to offer you a discounted version if you can prove you bought that. They're not going to do that. If you want to double dip because you've got a Steam Deck, let's be honest, that's what a lot of people are doing with it. That's what they want, isn't it? So they're not going to change this, and I can't really. It's not a moral high ground I can take because it's like to them they are trying something with PC games on and you know first party stuff and like Microsoft don't. If let's say Microsoft put out Gears of War 7 or whatever sometime, they're not going to make it cheaper on PC even if it's released at the same time as Xbox. Like these are new games to PC players from Sony's perspective, rightly or wrongly. They are going, no, look, your new market, we're going to sell it full price. Let's say I vote with your wallet if you don't like it. I would always say vote with your wallet if you don't like something.
Yeah, I mean you can guarantee that if Nintendo ever did it, they would be full price forever. Yeah. I mean they're bloody full price on the Switch, so yeah. It doesn't surprise me at all.
There's first party games that they spend millions of dollars on. They want to make more than they spent on them, and then keep making more on top of that. They're not going to change. So I don't have an issue with it. It
sends a really weird message to say this game is 50 quid on PlayStation, but it's 30 quid on PC as a starting point. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if they do that, PlayStation users are going to get pissed off. I bought this game and you're now selling
more
it to new people.
Off.
Yeah, well, no, but they'd have a point. They'd have an argument because they could say, hey, we buy your console and your first-party games for £70, by the way, now.
Yeah.
And you're giving them to PC players at 30, but we're your customers. We're your core.
Yeah.
So they'd have every right to be angry about that. So, yeah.
Okay, random question time. Would you rather have a new Valiant Hearts TV show or a new Child of Light on mobile?
Like mobile phone, mobile.
Yeah, I imagine not the spinning shield.
No, I meant like I meant like Switch or Steam Deck.
No, yeah, fine.
No, the Valiant Hearts TV show, because I don't play mobile games enough, because like when I've got my mobile in my hand, it's going off all the time and I want to throw it at a wall, so I don't really enjoy playing mobile games anymore like I used to. Need a work phone is basically what I'm saying. I need a work phone and a home phone. That's what I'm saying, I think so.
But would you play it if you had a work phone?
No.
But you just want a work phone?
Yeah.
So just to say you've got a work phone?
I'd feel quite classy for once, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Maybe a briefcase
Like a
and a
status
top
symbol.
hat.
Yeah, and a monocle.
Yeah, maybe like a very, very black umbrella that I can walk around with and look all fancy. Spinning
Jacob
a little bit.
Rees-Mogg.
That was absolutely no fucking need. There was no fucking need for that.
That was really hurtful.
That was so below the belt.
Sorry.
I mean, there's not much worse you could have said there. That is so below the belt.
I despise the man.
Yeah, thanks. Fucking hell.
That's why I was warning you, because if you aspire to be that person,
I don't think having an umbrella means you're Jake Rees-Mogg.
You said monocle, top hat, and
No, you said monocle. I never mentioned a monocle.
You did?
I didn't. I said a top hat. I never mentioned.
You
can do that. You can. I never said the word monocle. I said top hat. You added monocle there.
Oh.
I promise you, I don't want to. Why would I wear a monocle? I'm hard enough to look at myself as it is. Now you want me wearing a monocle, spinning a fucking Rees-Mogg.
Spinning a Rees-Mogg? What's that? That's like a euphemism I don't want.
No.
Anyway.
Proof
it's
positive
my turn
that we
for
come
questions.
from
Can you ask them? No, do you know what Lyle? Because I'm in trouble now. So Lyle.
Yeah, my question is just going to be, hey Chris, why are you a cunt? Chris, why are you a cunt? That's not what it says on the doc. No, these are my questions. Yeah, go on, ask Lyle first. I don't think you can answer any of yours anyway, can you?
I can answer one of them.
Up to you. It's your section, mate. You can do what you want.
No. Can you see the questions, Lyle? I'm asking you to do something impossible.
No.
I can get them. Do you want me to get them?
Oh, you want Lyle to ask them for you now?
I thought Lyle.
I can do.
You were so annoyed with me.
Mate, I'm acting.
This is
professional.
This is great, like organisation and production.
I'm professional. I'm just acting. It's all fake.
No.
I don't even have kids. So, I've not played Bayonetta 3. Didn't even know it was a game.
Well, okay. I better. Can I do Lyle's listener correspondence, please?
You'd have to. I can put the song on again, but I'm not going to be able to make it happen like that.
No,
we're not making another jingle. That took just no.
Too long. Yeah. Okay. So, Chris, we have our questions still from interrupting Chris here. Have you finished Xenoblade 3?
No. So. I haven't, but
that was a bit melt shit. That was there, that
because I was just this question I fear comes up every week. I'm on chapter 7. I will finish it.
You will.
I've been reliably informed. I can just smash through it in about 5 hours. I'm just going to stick to the story now rather than all the pissing side missions which I've been doing, which have been great and I've enjoyed them. But I'm at the point now where I want to do the story. But games just keep coming out, and Adam keeps making me do stuff. So
how far are you into 7? Because there comes a point where you won't be able to do side stuff in 7. And
not very far. Like
okay, so are you still in the overworldy area?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. You need to get your ass in gear and get to the place.
Yeah, I'll try. I literally just started 7 after the reveals at the end of 6.
Okay.
I don't want to say anymore.
Oh, maybe a bit more than 5 hours then. Maybe a bit.
Oh, okay.
Great. No, 5-6 hours. When I was
the way I played 12.
If you just say I am going to finish this less than 5 hours.
Yeah, no, I do need to. I'm in that mood now. I think, to be honest, the amount of story that was at the end of 6 was like, I just want to see how this finishes.
That's what happened to me. Is that by the end of 6, because there was like it's Metal Gear Solid amounts of cutscenes after that.
I'm wondering when I get to the point where you were like, I'm still in a cutscene. You were messaging me going, this cutscene is still going on.
I think you've done that. Because literally chapter ends and then it starts with another cutscene and you're like, my God, the battery. I actually had, the screen dims down on Switch a bit if you don't use your controller often enough. I had that happen during a cutscene. And I'm like, what's going on? Oh, I haven't played. Because I put it down. I was almost like, this is a good story, but like, I'd love to play it. I've not seen a game do a cutscene that long since Metal Gear Solid 4. No, 3. No, 4. 4, yeah.
4, I remember being
PlayStation
the longest
3.
ever, yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen a game do that. So if you've seen that, you could now just go... And that's exactly how I felt when reviewing it. I was like, okay, I am ready now to just see the end of this. And if I do still wanted to come back and do more, I can, but I am now ready to.
Yeah.
It feels like the point where it's like, well, if I don't wrap this up, it almost makes I'm making the game weird because it really feels like I should be wrapping this up.
Yeah,
I'm decided to go.
Like,
no, I'm going to go and
just
grab
heard
some
all
apples.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you just pause because I just
Yeah.
want to go and do this random
Yeah.
side quest because someone's lost their sheep or something. Just sorry, pause. Yeah, no, carry on.
No, yeah. Okay, back to you, Lyle.
Okay, and next question is current non-embargo game you're enjoying playing? Question mark.
Literally talk about this because we're doing a Friday pod, not a Thursday pod. I'm currently playing Call of Duty's Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer.
Single player for me, but yes.
And it's great. I played the closed beta and I enjoyed that and played a few rounds after midnight last night. And yeah, it feels really good.
Have you touched the campaign at all?
No, not yet.
I would say, and Lyle, I know it's not your cup of tea, but even if you have to Google it and like find a video, I would strongly urge both of you to just at least play the first hour and a bit till you get to Amsterdam, because
I've seen a clip on Twitter of Amsterdam. It looks stunning.
I'd heard and seen images before, but it's been some time. It's been a minute since I've looked at a game and gone, wow. And it's not just the visuals in terms of, that looks like a real place. You follow a female character at the start of that chapter, and it's like, this could be me walking down the street behind. It's so unreal.
Interesting you say it, because like I watched the video. I was just scrolling through Twitter and someone had put it on. I can't even remember who it was. And I literally thought it was a piss take because they were in Amsterdam and were filming it, and something was going to kick off that could have been in Modern Warfare, and that was the Twitter joke. And I was like, oh no, hang on. No, stop. This is actually a game I'm watching here.
No, it's look, people talk shit about Call of Duty, and maybe rightly so, and Activision have got their own problems at the moment, which we're not going to get into here because they're well documented elsewhere. But I will say, it's like I say, it's been a minute since I've seen a video game that's made me go, wow, it's one of those. It's almost like where you want to show off, hey, look at this new gen console and this new telly I've just bought, that kind of thing. Like it is genuinely, and also, do you know what? I'm really enjoying the campaign. It feels different. It feels maybe sometimes like with games like Call of Duty, with games like Skyrim or that sort of Bethesda style game. But with that kind of game, sometimes you need a little bit of a break from them to appreciate them. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe that I've done that because like I'm playing this, and I'm really enjoying this. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And it's made me want to play the multiplayer until I saw someone playing it, and like, because there's been a lot of talk about the time to kill being changed. It didn't look like it had to me. You pretty much die instantly still. Like, it's not like... I mean, you've played it. You tell me.
The
time to kill. TTK. Come on. You know what that means.
What's that?
The time to kill, in terms of how long it takes for you to drop. Like when you're in a gunfight with someone in the multiplayer.
I mean, I've played like three rounds. But like... I mean... There have been some bits where I'm like, it feels a bit like, and I don't know how much of it is my connection, where it's just like, that's not my recollection of events where you look at someone else's kill cam. But no, there's nothing that I'm noticing where I'm like, it's really bad. It's you're dead, and someone else is dead.
No, but people had been reporting that it was longer, so the time to so you weren't dropping quite as quickly. And I watched a bit of someone playing, and it's like that doesn't seem to be true. It seems that you're pretty much dead just as quickly
I
as
wouldn't
you
say
are.
so.
No.
What, like people are like bullet sponges?
Not to that degree, but like even the smallest of change in that kind of game is noticeable.
Yeah.
That you're like,
oh no,
because what puts me off is that with my reactions,
anything,
it's
I'm
like,
Jesus, these shotguns are overpowered. Like literally, no, I would not. I'd go the other way. From what I've experienced right now, I'd go. It's probably the other way, where like.
Well, I looked at someone playing it, and I was literally like, that looks exactly like Call of Duty multiplayer.
Yeah, no, I've definitely that's
dead,
definitely not my experience that people are taking ages to drop. No, not at all.
Like it's still that thing of if someone sees you before you see them, you're dead. There's no coming back from that. There's no, I've got this gun. No, you're dead. You're dead.
I mean, if it is harder to kill people, I'm really bad at it because I'm dying a lot. But like, no, honestly, it's not my. I would not. That's not my initial impression of it at all.
Okay.
Compared to previous
so that's your current non-embargoed game you're playing.
Yeah.
That you're enjoying.
If you couldn't have asked me that yesterday.
You're enjoying. And your last question is.
And he knows.
No, the last question. There's one. Well, there's a last question, and it's just why you a cunt.
Oh, because it's contagious from you. Fuck off.
Good
Right.
answer. That pretty.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. Especially
Okay.
on the spot. Yeah. Take it.
I wasn't expecting it. I expect it from Adam, but I don't.
Everyone
expect
expects
it from
it from me. I'm the Spanish Inquisition of games journalists. That's such an old man joke.
That is so. Yeah, Lyle's like, I've no idea what you're talking about.
No, he knows
No,
what
no,
that
not
is.
at all.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, well that's.
Okay, right. That's actually depressing. I was joking.
Yeah, that was really quite
Lyle, your
sad.
questions then. Which recent Square Enix game are you playing or hope to play soon?
I'm
I know the answer. To
playing. Yeah, I'm playing or hope to play soon. Star Ocean.
Oh, okay,
the
that's not the
new
answer.
One.
That's not the answer
That's
I
a
thought
new
you were going
one.
to say.
I think that's Square Enix, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
It
But I
is,
thought you were going to
maybe?
say Tactics Ogre.
Oh yeah, I hope
You
to play
hope to
that
play
soon.
soon. Yeah, because like that.
Yeah, the hope to play soon, I guess, will be Tactics Ogre. Yeah, because I'm excited for that. I think that looks very, very good. But yeah,
Can we
allowed
just
to
have
say
a
I'm
shout
playing
out as
Star
well
Ocean.
to Forspoken, because I saw that at the time of recording this, there was a new 3-part series. They've just put the first one up, which shows off like the traversal and magic, and I have to say, I'm kind of looking forward to that.
I've not seen it yet.
Really looks good.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah, I've
movement
seen
and
it's
then
out.
and that looks really, really good. Like I've. Yeah, no, that. I mean, I know the question's for Lyle, but I just wanted to get that mentioned and see what people thought, because I thought that game was going to be one of those where it's a new IP. It's going to come and go. It's going to be sevens, but looking at it now, I'm actually that does look pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, no,
I've not
agreed.
seen
I think
like we've said about it before. I kind of feel that game's either going to be arse or amazing, and I just hope, obviously, it's not the arse one. So,
I think the delay could help it quite a bit, couldn't it?
well, this is the point. It's got to, right? This is what we were saying.
well,
before.
I saw
Yeah.
it in a hands-off quite a while ago. Actually, it was quite a while ago now for NME, and it did look rough, and it did look like it needed to be delayed, and they did. So smart.
Fair play.
Anyways, yeah.
Okay, so next question: how's Elden on deck holding up?
It's still installed. I think I started it up the other day and then realised I had to play something else. But it's there.
Making you play stuff again.
It's making me play things. I'm sorry. I wish you wouldn't. No, I don't. I'm happy about that. But I mean, it's unfortunate for Elden Ring, isn't it?
See,
But I love
absolute anger in his eyes there. He's smiling, but he's like, "You can't."
I know what code I sent him today.
Yeah, you do.
No, you do. Yeah, moving on. No embargo's being busted here. If you do, it's on our. Yeah, never mind. Doesn't matter. Move on.
Okay, interesting question. Lyle, if you had to pick Gotham Knights or Power Wash Simulator, which would you play for 3 hours in a row?
For 3 hours in a row, this is the easiest question ever, because from what I've heard about Gotham Knights, it doesn't necessarily seem like my sort of game, but Power Wash Simulator is the worst game I've ever played. I've said it before. I'll continue to say it when it's brought up. So I imagine, as long as Gotham Knights isn't the worst game I've ever played, for the second time this year, then it's going to be Gotham Knights, isn't it? I'll probably be all right with it. Like, I might not have the best time in the world, but comparing that to essentially video game torture, it's probably going to be all right.
Is that your subtitle to Power Wash Simulator? Video game torture.
Video game torture. Yeah, it made me feel physically sad. It made my mood drop when I was about to load it up because I hated playing it so much. I've never had that happen before. Like, my heart sink. Like, I think that I'm gonna get like murdered or something. Bad times.
Okay. Just to raise the mood somewhat from Lyle's, what I just
Misery.
said. You're trapped in the last horror game that you played. How do you survive? Adam Cook.
Resident Evil Village, and I don't probably. I mean, with the guns, maybe is the answer. With the shotgun, I don't back myself with a gun at all.
You'll have to try pretty hard.
I meant to mention this before and get on my high horse about it. Right? Can Capcom stop fucking making enemies with jelly heads? Pissing me off now. The necks of jelly, where they just go, "Oh, you're aiming there, are you?" Well, and just do
that noise.
Jesus Christ,
noise.
That was amazing.
But like, you know what I mean, though. Like, it started in they did it a bit in like Resident Evil 4, but it's just got ridiculous now. I was just like, they proper just like fucking start doing something out of Thriller or something, and it's just like, how am I supposed to aim like that? The aiming's, pretty.
I can confirm that I have mentioned this phenomenon to Capcom's PR. Because I'm the same as you, like that.
With the sound
No,
effects.
I didn't do the sound effects. I have some pride.
Oh.
No, I didn't do the sound effects, but I did. I probably did do the motion. Actually, now I think about it, yeah.
Irritated me so much. I'm just like, I've got no bullets, and now I've got no bullets now because you just fucking moved and I've shot a bookcase instead.
Can we get the sound effect again, or was that a one-time deal?
No, I can't even remember
no,
what I did.
I that was definitely in the moment.
I'm sure you'll find it and put it on a loop for something.
Oh, I wish I had time.
I'm sure you'll make time for shit like that. Anyway, Lyle.
Last horror game I guess I played was Ghostbusters, and in Ghostbusters you can't die, you just leave a building, so I'll be all right.
Fine.
Mine's probably either Resident Evil or Devil in Me, so I'll go with Devil in Me. And Christ, I don't know. I don't fucking know what's coming. I'm pretty far.
Just stay in your room and don't leave it. Don't do the video game bit. Just stay in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching the footage of that going, why is no one turning on the lights?
Well, I mean, there's a power.
Oh, well, okay, I didn't know that.
The breaker's gone. That's part of it.
That's fair enough. And
But
just stay in your room, go sleep.
I just, yeah. Also, it's like
it's a shit game, but just go sleep.
yeah. Did you survive till dawn? Yeah, I just went to sleep.
I went to sleep. I locked the door and went to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if I'm doing this properly, if it was Dark Pictures game, I'd just be nice to everybody because that seems to always work out well. And
It'll be a change for you, though, won't it?
It'll be fucking hard, yeah. God, could you imagine if I stuck in a haunted house with you?
Well,
you gotta be nice to me, or you won't survive.
Nice to you because if we have a bad moment, then you might just choose not to save my life.
Be a shit game of Cluedo. It was Lyle. The end. That was it. What weapon? Does it matter? It was just Lyle with bad opinions in the study.
Okay. Next question. Would you rather play Mario Kart or Street Fighter with Rishi Sunak? See, with the Jacob Rees-Mogg thing, I was kind of teeing the politics question up. You see?
Yeah.
I have an answer to this.
Yeah, me too, but you go ahead, mate.
Street Fighter.
Okay.
Because I'd want to fucking visualize it was him I was kicking in. And I'd beat him as well. Like, I'd beat him.
Imagine if you didn't, though.
Yeah, see, my answer is the opposite because I back myself more on Mario Kart than I do Street Fighter, and I'm not fucking losing.
I back myself on both.
Yeah, but you lose to him and it's thick rope time, isn't it?
I mean, the fact that I'm playing with him is pretty close to thick rope time.
You've kind of teed up my answer there. Is that my answer is that I would rather you kidnapped me and tied both of my legs either side of an industrial threshing machine and lowered me by the bollocks into it than be in a room with him. So I'm not playing a game with him. I'd rather you grated my knackers like they were cheese. Slowly.
So I guess your answer is online Mario Kart then?
No, my answer is thick rope. I would not play a game with him. I just wouldn't. I'm sorry.
I feel like this week you're not really in the spirit of the questions. You're just going, no, fuck it, I'm not answering that question.
Fine, all right.
Really feel like that's giving the audience what
fine.
They want.
No, fine, I will answer. My answer would be Street Fighter, but as he went to pick up his controller, I would grab the television and insert it widthways up his anus.
I think that's fair. Okay.
And it would be a big telly, just to be clear.
50
would it
to
be one of
60
those
inches.
curved ones?
No, I think that gives an opportunity for it to fit slightly nicer.
Oh,
It
no,
has
I
to be
think
full-on square.
that's more painful corners, right? It's a larger area. I think a curved's more painful to go in and to get out as well.
Oh, it's not
Is this from experience,
it's
maybe?
not coming
or-
back out. It's not coming back out. Come on.
They'll try in hospital to get it
They'll
out.
try. Those poor
I feel
people.
Like- just to be clear, could we be arrested for this? Is this because he's the Prime Minister?
I don't know. I mean, probably.
I said I'd just play Mario Kart.
Yeah. Yeah, to be clear, it's just me, isn't it, in the docks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably an accomplice here.
You're getting that way.
As soon as I say curved telly. Anyway, right.
He provided the weapon, officer.
Anyway.
I just
last
slipped.
question.
I slipped carrying this 62-inch television. The rest,
He just
I blacked
to be
out.
bending over.
No, I blacked out. I slipped. Chris said, take this, and I blacked out.
Chris said, "Take this." It was him.
So, talk me through how the accident happened. I was holding a curved telly, blacked out, and somehow the TV ended up his anus.
Well, you can't blame me.
And
I wasn't
Chris
conscious
was a big part of it.
of the telly. Ask the next question because we probably.
I was part of the telly. I'm up his anus as well.
I'd like to think you were on the telly at the time. This podcast, to get properly meta, this podcast
Not
episode
on the
was-
telly. Not literally. I'm up his anus. I'm just on the telly, as in.
Yes, like
speaking.
now. This is being broadcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So he knows it's coming.
Yeah, it's on a slight delay.
Yeah.
And he just turns around.
Fucking hell. Final question this week. Okay. If you could add a video game to the secondary school curriculum, which would it be and why?
That Dragon Cancer.
Wouldn't be the happiest of classes that day.
Teach people how to deal with loss and how loss affects people.
It's a good answer, but it
It's
didn't
not
bring the
funny.
mood
It's
up,
not
did
funny
it?
in any way.
No, it's not funny at all.
Fuck.
It's your section, Chris. Come on, pick it up.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
I'm really, really happy now.
Yeah, go on. What is it, Mario? Would you make him play Mario?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Mario.
Never
on
teach him about the old
Minecraft,
cancer.
mate.
You wouldn't want the old cancer upsetting the kids, would you? Get them on Mario. What would that teach
Yeah.
him? Eh? What would that teach him?
Hand-eye coordination, to love education, as opposed to.
I'll.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Okay, well, let's mix this up one more time then.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
got what?
Christ,
We've got
yeah,
that
you
dragon
say with
cancer.
yours opinions. Come on.
That dragon cancer, and we got a bit of Mario, and then we'll switch to Galgun for a bit.
Wow.
I mean, at
Ga-
least you
Gal
got
learn.
the penis birthday game.
Yeah, the Penis Birthday
just-
game,
it's-
which
it's-
is its official title.
It's just
Or
having
Freezer-Pot.
children play that at a school. It seems
It's a bit edgy.
particularly bad.
Bayonetta 3.
Yeah. No, Galgun's worse.
He's chosen.
And therefore more interesting.
He's chosen.
I've chosen, sorry.
He's chosen.
Here and
They'll enjoy the Mario.
It's old enough to play Galgun.
No one's old enough
No.
to play Galgun.
No one's old
Definitely
enough
not.
to play.
No one should.
No one should.
But
True.
at least make them. It'll make them a bit of adversity.
Would you not make it, in the spirit of adversity, make them all play Power Wash Simulator?
No.
Far less
that's
painful
too
to play
much.
that Dragon Cancer, I would say, Lyle, isn't it? Far less painful.
I think so, yeah. I'd play 3 hours of that Dragon Cancer over Power
I was
Wash
genuinely
Simulator.
serious about. I mean, you'd have to play it several times if you did that, but I
Yeah,
was
that's just
genuinely
looping it
serious
over.
about that because, like, it does. It's an important study in loss and dealing with that. I was genuinely serious, but I admit it'd be too heavy.
yeah.
So I don't know. What's
I mean, it was a good suggestion. It just was,
it just didn't
not
fit in with
great for a
Chris's
podcast.
principles. Apparently, Mario Kart with Rishi Sunak, no less. Oh, what a lesson! Do
That's what they have to do.
you want me to play the jingle, Chris? Yeah.
Oh, play the fucking jingle, Chris. Listen to Correspondence. It's time. It's time. Chris Hyde.
Sorry, I tried not to corpse that. Well, thank you to Chris for his listener correspondence. What a podcast this has been. What an episode. We have run the
proud of
gamut.
this one.
I'm less proud of a lot of things I've said this evening. I don't know about you, Chris. How are you feeling?
Cosmic.
Cosmic. Yeah. Thank you very much to Lyle and Chris for being here. Obviously, there's no podcast without them. Thank you to the listeners. There's also no podcast without you. Well, I mean, there is just no one would listen to it. But
Yeah, you're not playing as Kia role as we are.
no, to be clear,
No,
Chris
definitely
and Lyle
not.
are the most important people.
Yeah.
Just full stop. Thank you very much for watching, listening, all that. We'd like to have a laugh on here. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully you don't take anything too seriously. If this is the first time you listen to the podcast, yes, we talk about games, but we like to have a laugh because we're friends in real life and get on. And if you're offended by anything that's been said, fuck you, Chris.
That was
That's
more
all
like
that.
Lyle,
You
to be honest.
Oh, okay, right, fine. I took that weight. For those not watching, Chris just did the kind of like sort of hand motion, but yeah, I just immediately took it to mean me, so that's a bit arrogant. But yeah, no, we will get on in real life and we have a laugh, and hopefully no one's been upset by anything, and hopefully you've been able to have a laugh with us. And if not, I'll just play the mum card again, and Lev will have to let me off, right?
Oh God, no!
He just never stops going on about it, and he had a heart attack. Jesus Christ, when was the lad going to get over it? You know. In all seriousness, thank you very much for listening. Thanks for being a part of the podcast. Go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek if you want to support us financially, or just, if you can't, I know it's hard times. No one judges you. If you just click a little thumbs up, or just even a thanks, or just say hello and say hello. Just say hello in the chat when you're watching it after the fact. You do get the podcast early if you're a Patreon. You do get all sorts of other things early. You get an extra podcast, which we've got to record the last one of soon before we start a new series of something completely different. And we will get on that, and that will be up there soon. But it's been very busy with the old video games, so we haven't had much time to spare. Once again, thank you for watching, listening, sharing, whatever you do. Thank you to Lyle, and thank you to Chris, of course, for his listener correspondence, and thank you to Steve once again for that jingle. To everybody else, we'll speak to you next week, probably. Depends how busy it is. But if not, whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye.